Hi, in this video we're going to expand double brackets where we might have negative terms in the brackets. Now remember from the previous video we saw that the way to multiply two brackets out is to multiply each term in the first bracket by each term in the second bracket. And we'll recap what we mean by this. So this is the key instruction here we need to use for expanding any brackets. So if we just copy this out, the first one, x minus 2 times x minus 3, we're going to do each thing in the first bracket times each thing in the second. So what I like to do is I like to focus on the first thing in the first bracket first and multiply it by each thing in the second bracket. So we're going to first do the x times the x, which is x squared. And then we're going to do the x times the minus 3, which is minus 3x. So I like to use arrows here to just say we're going to do this first thing times each of the things in the second. And now we've done the first thing in the first bracket multiplied by everything in the second bracket. So now we need to do the second thing in the first bracket multiplied by each thing in the second bracket. So we're going to do the minus 2 times the x, and we're going to do the minus 2 times the minus 3. Now, firstly, negative 2 times x is just negative 2x. And then we've got the minus 2 times minus 3. Negative times negative is positive, so it's going to be positive 6. And then what we do is we collect like terms. So x squared doesn't collect with anything. It doesn't simplify with anything because it's the only x squared term. This doesn't have a squared. This doesn't have a squared. So the x squared just stays as it is. However, these are x terms without a power, so they can collect together. So if you have negative 3 lots of x and you subtract 2 lots of x, you have minus 5 lots of x. So that simplifies like that. And then finally, we've got this constant term here, the plus 6, which just stays as plus 6. And that is the final answer. Those brackets have been fully expanded now. Right, what about the second one? We've got y minus 5 times y minus 1. So as before, we do each thing in the first bracket multiplied by each thing in the second. So I'm going to do this y multiplied by each thing in the second bracket first. So I'm going to do y times the y and the y times the minus 1. So y times the y is y squared. The y times the minus 1 is minus 1y, or just minus y if you prefer. And then you do the second thing in the first bracket multiplied by each of the things in the second. So the minus 5 times the y and the minus 5 times the minus 1. So minus 5 times y is minus 5y, and the minus 5 times the minus 1. Negative times negative is positive, so it's positive 5. And then you get y squared. The negative 1y subtract 5 lots of y is negative 6 lots of y, and we've still got that plus 5. And that is the final answer again.